Okay, hello everybody. Today I'll be reviewing a game that I've played many times before with a friend of mine, Brandon. Um, Today Brandon is white and I am black. Brandon kicks off the match with knight f3, and I go Sicilian with him, c5. He immediately attacks that, which I have no problem taking. He retakes, I attack the knight. I start developing naturally. He swings his other knight out, and I offer the pawn. He declines, of course. And now he opens up his queen. The queen's diagonal with e3. And this tells me he's probably going to bring his queen out or his bishop out next. Maybe a bishop check. I prevent that annoying bishop check. Immediately, he does the same. So I'm just carrying on, fianchettoing my king bishop. So he brings his queen out, and I fianchetto. Now this is interesting. Now I could take here, and there might be some attacking possibilities, but instead, I think a better move, and I think Rybka likes d4, just pushing the pawn, but I did neither, because I wasn't prepared to have his knight infiltrate here, which can be potentially annoying, especially with that queen combination. So I first stop that from happening. He takes with the knight. I retake with the knight, and he makes his first blunder of the game, which is bishop c4. Much better would have been pawn takes, because there's really black really doesn't have a whole lot going on here, and you haven't just lost a knight for nothing. So anyways, he blundered this particular move Rybka hates, and so I just move back casually. Now he's gonna start pushing pawns, and he really wants that mate right there. So if he can get rid of the knight, he thinks he's okay. But I don't know if he missed me fianchettoing my other bishop, but now he needs to do something to defend that. Rybka likes d3, bishop d3 here. Instead, Brandon plays knight d2, which isn't too bad. And then I just bring my knight out, because the next move I'm going to attack the queen. So he pushes forward, wants to kick that knight off. I just attack the queen. He has to move to the one square possible without losing a rook, etc. There might have been another square there, but no, it would have just been bad. So I just escape the pawn, and preparing to attack his queen a second time. And he attacks my knight, and I just go forward, attacking my queen, attacking his queen. And then he, I guess, panics and wants at least some compensation for this spot he finds himself in. So I just take the pawn for the bishop, and he checks me again, and I just bring that knight out of harm's way and blocks the queen. So now he's trying to back this pawn up and then start pushing it down, come after my king. I just take that pawn. He retakes with the knight, and then I fork. I like this move. I don't think Rybka did, but I liked it. Okay, so that forces him to protect the knight. So that queen's kind of stifled. I prepared a manual castle. And he pushes the pawn. Now, I've got several choices here. Rybka wanted me to do something more aggressive, but I just manually castled anyways. So he takes the pawn. I take with the bishop. He decides to trade rooks. And this move is a double question mark. There is, he went from maybe a pawn and a half down to something like 5 pawns down after this move. I can see where he was going. I can see where he was going with that. He wanted this, and then this. Check. And I've got to move. So I go here. And then he goes here, and he's got some... No, that's not right. He would not do that. What would he do? Oh. And then he would go there. And then this is now hanging. And I would have to do something about that. But regardless, I did not take with the bishop. I instead took with the queen. And then at which point he pretty much has nothing. He decided to do that anyways, and I just trade off the bishop pair. And this is where I start checking him, checking. Now here, I could have just taken that pawn and it would have been crushing if I just took the pawn. But instead I decided to get fancy and just win the pawn in a different manner. I eventually just, I don't know, it wasn't as good. But after this move, everything's locked down. And basically that pawn is mine. And not much counterplay for black. So he's going to shoot for taking that pawn. And I'll trade him gladly. And then he's got a hard time. I just move my rook to the open file. Move up there. And after that, it's pretty much all over. I castle. He blunders into a mate here. But if he moved to another rank, that second pawn would have been gone, followed by all the rest of his pawns. So it was really just a lost game. There's the mate. So, in summary, pretty even opening. Small advantage to black from the beginning. Some poor move choices by that being the first by Brandon. That's simple to get out of that. So then another one, you could have moved this bishop. The bishop is slightly stronger because then once this center clears away or this moves up, then you've got a knight coming down. But instead, he moves the knight. Attack the queen, prepare to attack the queen, trade out the bishops, check again, block with the attack knight, and just take that pawn. Take that pawn because I can. Okay, now that knight's pinned, or that queen's pinned to the knight. I just prepared a manually castle. I do 2 centralized bishops, trades off the rooks. Bad move, game-ending move right here. So just crush it. And there she has it. It's very locked down. Not much you can do. Not enough time really to do anything with any of the threats that you can muster. And then, so that's it. Thank you very much. Leave any comments on YouTube.